What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday night, time to talk some football. And obviously, we've had a little bit of a break with, Turkey Day and everything. And I'm sure you guys had enough turkey on Thursday. You didn't need to see more turkey on Tuesday. So, much needed break. Well deserved. I feel, refreshed and ready to go.
You know,
Um,
Jay, I think you just wanted to take a break last week to save Eagles fans from the trash that I was going to talk after that game.
no, no.
So, Eagles fans, you're welcome. But don't think you're going to be off the hook because there's still going to be a little bit going on today. So,
Oh, no, no. There needs to be because I'm actually at this point kind of rooting for the Cowboys, which is weird for me, right? Like I'm a Green Bay fan and we kind of hate each other, right? But the rest of your league, just the way they are, and especially the Eagles fans letting me down by throwing a game to Chicago. I mean, come on. It's Chicago, for God's sake.
I
How could you
mean,
possibly lose to Chicago? So, no, there's going to be plenty of roasting this episode.
all right,
And
good. Good to know.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna smell like Dirty Bird all up in this episode. I promise you. So, that being the case, BD, while I start posting on all the socials and everything like that, why don't you give me a breakdown on that Phillies Dallas game?
Oh, the Phillies Dallas game? Oh, you mean the game that tied the biggest comeback in Cowboys history? That one? Is that the one you're talking about? The one,
Yes,
the
please.
one where we were down 21-0 and came back to win. Is that? Are you
Yes,
talking about the same one?
I believe that's the one.
Yeah. That was a
I,
fantastic game.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I think that's the game.
Yeah, I think it is too. Fantastic game, great game. I don't even remember what the stats were. I just remembered Cowboys kicked the Eagles' ass in the second half. So,
Um, but how did that happen?
well, defense. I would, and what have I said? This was now the second game of the new look Cowboys defense, and with Quentin Williams, Logan Wilson, Overshawn coming back, Ravel finally playing. Raiders, I was like, okay, you know what? It's just the Raiders. Let's see what they do against a real team. And
Mhm.
they kind of uh first quarter just played like crap. Eagles scored 14 points and just kind of looked a little lost. Disagree with some of the coaching decisions. I remember the very first drive, Cowboys were at the 50-yard line and they decided to go for it on fourth down. I would have liked to have seen a punt there, especially, this would have been the defense's first chance to get on the field against the Eagles. You don't want to kind of put them in a bad position right from the start. Cowboys did. So, it was a lot of that as well. But, they buckled down. It ended up, holding them to 0 points the entire second half and ended up scoring 17 of their own. Just, played great. Defense looked really good. And that just kind of rolled into this past week here against KC again. So, man, these last 3 weeks, I've been real impressed with the defense.
And I mean, I hate to say it, but I think it starts with the trade that everybody knows I hated and I was against. Now, we will get to that in a little bit.
I don't think it
Have had
starts
any
with that trade. I
adverse.
don't think it starts with that trade.
I think it does. I think it
Well,
does
well,
because you got Kenny Clark, and that's what started your
Kenny
build.
Clark's not really doing a whole lot for us right now.
Dude, he's an
But
incredible nose tackle.
if you want to, Cowboys would not have got Quentin Williams, probably not Logan Wilson either, if Parsons was still here. So if you want to count that, then okay. But I don't think we would have needed either one if Parsons was still here myself. But
I don't know that that's true. And here's the reason why. And we'll break it down in our game, in the Green Bay game a little bit. Not Kenny Clark, Micah Parsons, as we know, is not great on run defense. He is great on pass rush. That's what he does. Who else did you have that could help stop the run? You didn't really have a lot of options. Now you got Kenny Clark who can block up the middle, and he's great at run defense. And then you picked up guys that can pick up the slack on the pass rush. So you got a much more balanced defense now. You're going to be able to do a lot more, and it's going to look a lot better. Now, granted, yeah, they started out kind of slow in that Philly game, uh, but when they put the boots to it, they got it done, didn't they?
Yeah. See, I don't even know. Clark had one tackle against the Eagles. He didn't record any stats against KC. So I don't know if he played or not. I mean, it was Thanksgiving, so I was in a food coma for a lot of the game, but
he played. I watched. I saw.
okay.
But again, he clogs up the middle. If the
Yeah.
run comes at him, he's gonna stop it. Otherwise, yeah, he's an effective run stop. That's it, right? That's why I really hated to see him go because that's all we really had on our defense was a good run stop defense. Now we've got Micah Parsons, which is an incredible pass rusher, and he's making a difference. I'm not going to say he's not, but where's our run stop? We're getting killed on the run a lot more now.
Yeah.
Uh, and I really wish Green Bay would have done some things to pick up somebody else to help us with that run stop up the middle. Uh, I I don't know. Maybe we can farm off one of our safeties for another 6th-round pick and find a diamond in the rough. I seriously doubt it though. But yes, so obviously you guys absolutely killed it against Philly. And then didn't you have another game that hang on, I've got to get to my NFL scores.
Yeah, well, we had our Thanksgiving game against the Chiefs.
But oh yeah, okay, let's talk about that game because that game I watched a little bit, and I gotta say, another nail biter. That game was much closer than kind of what I wanted to see. So let's break that down. Like, you know, what what transpired in that game?
So, kind of with that one, the the Chiefs kind of came off to a quick start, and I think Dak had a turnover interception on our first drive, just like a couple plays in. So KC got the ball real quick, and they scored within like 30 seconds. It was only 2 or 3 plays they ran, scored a touchdown real quick, up 7-0. And then it was just Cowboys went down the field right after that, kind of marched along and scored a touchdown, and just kind of a little back and forth. Chiefs went up, scored again, and then second quarter, third quarter, really, it was all Cowboys scored, and it was a good game. Just watching, it was a good balance. The offense played really well. Dak wasn't amazing, but he did, threw for over 300 yards. Only that one interception to start the game. A couple touchdowns. About just under 70% accuracy. 137 yards rushing. So pretty good rushing game. Malik Davis actually had a nice 43-yard touchdown run that was, pretty impressive. I think they said like that was the longest Cowboys run of the year or something. But it was a good all-around game. It wasn't dominant. It didn't come like just light the field, but it was a good grinded out dominant game, which is something that I want to see. I want to know that the team can win these tough games. I don't care if you can blow somebody out. How do you play when somebody's coming at you? When you got the Chiefs, who they don't have the record that they've had the last few years, but they're still the Chiefs. It's still Patrick Mahomes, who can do whatever the hell he wants to on the field. Throw the ball like at a freaking 20-degree angle off of the ground and make an accurate pass. So can you hold them down? And they did that. So I was impressed with what I saw.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Again, I watched some of it because that's kind of when, Thanksgiving was in full swing, so it was hard to see everything that was going on, especially considering, we were with Sleepy's family visiting them over in far West Texas, and they had some military people because I guess it's Fort Bragg is over there,
Okay.
and there isn't really much to brag about, but that's okay. We'll get over that. Um, they had some soldiers over, because that's kind of it's a military family. That's kind of what they do. Everybody served, and by the way, thank you guys all for all of your service. Uh, Sleepy included. She did 4 years in the army, so very very awestruck by her. Anyways, they had some service members over, and so of course, I wanted to make sure I was doing my part to, be welcoming and inviting and keep them entertained and whatever. And oddly enough, they didn't really seem to care too much about football, right? They wanted to talk more about like video games and stuff like that, and how Red Dead Redemption is better than a Call of Duty game versus Call of Duty being better than Red Dead Redemption. And I was like, can we all just agree that GTA 5 is the best and GTA 6 is going to be even better? And then they didn't like me anymore after that. So whatever.
But funny you say that. I'm actually going through it. I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 right now, actually, as we speak. Well, not right now, but it's my game of choice right now at this moment.
Truth. And it's an incredible game. But
It is.
once GTA 6 comes out, dude, we're done. We're done.
We'll
Nobody's
see.
going to see me
We'll
anymore.
see. I got high hopes for it, but we'll see.
Oh, I can't even wait. And P.S. It looks like, and that's this is a video game show, but it looks like, oh hey, what's up, Robert? Good to see you, man.
What's up,
Um,
Rankin?
Not that this is a video game show, but it also looks like Microsoft bought out Bethesda, who's the maker of the Fallout series.
Yep.
So now we don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to release it just to Xbox and PC, or are they going to do all consoles across the board? What are they going to do?
I'm
Um,
Xbox. I don't
so,
care. So
well, uh, Fallout is actually not bad. Sleepy got me hooked
Fallout
on
is one of my favorite game series. I
that.
love. I can go play Fallout. 100 times.
Yeah. Sleepy got me started on 76, and ever since then, it's just been like, oh man. But I want it on PC so I can do all the cheat codes and not get in trouble for it. Anyways,
Back to football.
yes, back
Side
to
note. Back to
football.
football.
Yeah, hashtag football. So let's talk about some football, right? And I'm sorry, it looks like I'm buffering a little bit here tonight. I didn't know that that could be a thing with Google Fiber, but apparently it is. Um,
Tell the
where
hamster to
we
hurry
week,
up.
yes, week 12, Packers played the Vikings. Robert?
Week 13.
No, I went back to
Oh.
week 12.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
because
okay.
we didn't talk about this one last week. Remember, because it happened
Oh, that's right. That's right.
after our show.
Oh, you just want to
Uh,
talk about you guys curb stopping the Vikings because Rankin's in here.
it it was not pretty. I was actually not going to be extremely brutal. Um, I'm still not. I'm not impressed with the quarterback of the future. I stick by what I've said. He's a decent quarterback. Malik Willis really kind of skewed everything because remember that's the game that uh, Love was driving downfield, got hurt, had to come out for a play or two. Malik Willis scored the touchdown. Right? He was 1 for 1, 7 yards, 100% completion rate. Kind of screws up the average a little bit, but he still looked good when he did it too, though. Now, granted, again, it was a short pass, easy
As good
made.
as you can look for one pass, one completion.
Yes. The Vikings did leave the wide receiver open in the end zone, so kind of got burnt on that. But still, 14 to 21, 139 yards total, not necessarily the greatest. I will say, though, that our superstar rusher did get hurt.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs, he was not in
Oh,
the
I know. It
game.
hurt me in
I don't
fantasy.
remember what happened. Something happened early. Yeah. Well, but Wilson, if you would have had Wilson, you would have been fine. Dude rushed 28 times, 107 yards. Absolutely blew it up. It was
It's not like I
insane.
can make a sub in the middle of a game, but thanks.
I know, I know. Uh, yeah, and Robert, you're not necessarily wrong. But our defense did pretty good that game as well. Um, so I was very impressed. Uh, our guy that I absolutely hate, right? He had two tackles, two two sacks. Uh, it, it was quarterback pressure. He pressured the quarterback three times. So Parsons is making a difference. Okay. Uh, Wyatt got two sacks on McCarthy as well. I think yeah, McCarthy played that game. Uh, and it
Yeah,
wasn't good. And this was like his first or second game back.
I
So
think it was his first game back. So I
he
saw a
really
stat.
struggled.
I saw a stat. What do you know what the passer rating would be if a quarterback spikes the ball every single play? Just takes a step, spikes it. Passer rating
No idea.
would be 39.6. You know what
Yeah,
McCarthy's passer rating was against y'all?
34.2.
34.2.
It was insane, dude. But that's also again
So
because he threw two picks.
yeah. So now follow up. Yeah, we're talking about 2 weeks ago. Their Max Brosmer. Do you know what his passer rating was this past
No
week?
idea.
32.8. Actually worse than McCarthy was the week before.
Wow. That's brutal.
Yeah.
That is brutal. So yeah, it was a rough game. And yeah.
Yeah.
So Robert, I I'm sorry for your woes. It's kind of, I don't know, shocking to see you guys flip from one of the best to one of the lowest in the
I mean,
NFC North.
as good as Sam Darnold was for him last year, you know, I don't know. I don't McCarthy, obviously, this is his first season starting. He looked pretty good at the beginning of the season, then got hurt, and he's looked kind of terrible since then. Um, he's he's gonna grow, but I don't know. It's kind of rough seeing how far that quarterback position dropped from last year to this year.
Yeah. And wow. Uh and yeah, it brutal. But again, it was just one of those things. You knew that Green Bay was coming to play and it was going to be rough. Now, let's fast forward to the Thanksgiving game. Uh that Green Bay Detroit game, I was I was somewhat pleasantly surprised how Green Bay did with that game because I knew it was going to be a tough game. First and foremost, it's a
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving game. Second of
Yep.
all, it's a division rival. Third, it's Detroit, right? You're not going to go into Ford Field and have an easy game. And Green Bay actually did pretty good. Jordan Love still, right? 18 of 30 for 234 yards. Not bad overall, but that's a little over that's 60% completion rating.
Yeah.
Not horrible, but I don't know. At this point in his career, even with as good as Detroit's defense is, you kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm expecting too much from the cat.
I think so.
I mean, he did have 124 quarterback rating. Did throw four touchdowns.
Yeah, there you go.
Um,
See?
his his longest pass was 51 yards to Watson, which Watson's been kind of hit and miss this game. Um, Hi, my love. How are you? Had to. I'm sorry, guys. Um, you know who I didn't see on the list, and I didn't know that he was a scratch, was Matthew Golden, our who I think is possibly, arguably, could be our best wide receiver if we use
Yeah,
him
I
correctly.
mean,
But he was a
that's
scratch because
if
he
you
was an
guys
injured.
use him. And
He was injured.
he hasn't been, very productive for y'all at all this year.
No, unfortunately, he is not. And I'm really surprised about that. And I don't know if it's because he just hasn't built that rapport with the team and with Love, or if maybe they think they have somebody better for the position that they're, trying to play him in, or maybe they're still trying to figure out what he's
And that
best
might be
at.
what I get
Because we know he's
kind
an
of
incredible slot
it's he's
receiver.
a rookie, so he's kind of got to find his place in the league, and it what's the position? Is he going to be slot? Is he going to be downfield? What's going on? So they may be just be kind of using him in the wrong packages right now, or he's just not kind of figuring out how to get open. So we'll see. Listen,
Well,
first year he's 12 games into his career, so
mhm. I will say that when they run him as the deep threat, he's picking off, passes in double coverage, like no problem. So I just don't know, but I don't think that that was how he was used in Texas. And I think maybe he's trying to either figure out how to adapt to being the deep threat, because the guy's got
yeah,
incredible breakaway speed. Um, but um, I know he knows how to do the slot receiver position, but we've got guys for the slot, you know? Um, And so I don't know. I do agree. I think it's just like Robert said here. Uh, Watson is playing surprisingly good when he's not hurt. And he's not been hurt for the last couple of games. And so that's kind of our number one guy. I don't know that I agree with that, but I'm also not the coach. And so maybe the coaches see something in Christian Watson. Uh, maybe they can see him past Romeo Dobbs' big head. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm pulling for Golden. I do hope maybe over the off season that they can figure out how to use them a little bit better and use them as a little bit more of a threat, and he can maybe contribute to the team a little bit more. Because I'm telling you, I think that kid has something special, and if we don't use him the correct way, we're going to wind up losing him, and we're going to see him go to some other team, maybe even Dallas, who knows, and absolutely blow up. So anyway, uh, we had a pretty good game on Thanksgiving, just kind of all around. Jacobs went off for 83 yards on 17 carries. So much more what we kind of expect to see from him. Uh, we had, two receivers try and rush, just, some fancy packages and stuff like that. Receiving, Wicks caught 6 for 94 yards. Watson caught 4 for 80. Musgrave. Let's talk about Luke Musgrave because obviously we lost
yep,
Tucker Kraft. And so everybody's like, crap, what are we going to do? In steps Musgrave. Not exactly the same tight end, but still a pretty good tight end, right? Obviously, one reception, 23 yards.
yeah.
He caught it when it counted, right? But for the most part, he's a bigger kind of a blocking tight end. So it was good to see him
Which I mean,
get in
really,
there.
you're
And then
not.
Romeo
I
Dobbs,
know Tucker's kind of he's the outlier of the tight ends. Your typical tight end, they're not going to get 5, 6, 7 receptions during a game. They're going to get maybe 2 or 3, but it's going to be those you need 7, 8 yards for a first down, and he's just going to get his big body in front of the whoever's defending him and catch the ball. And that's what seems what Musgrave is for you guys right now.
yeah, right now he's that, we got to get yards. Here it is. And I will say that to Detroit's credit, there were a lot of those, third and shorts where the pressure was on and we really had to come up with something big and just got lucky. Well, I say lucky. We somehow made it work. Let me put it that way. Because I don't want to say it was necessarily luck. There's definitely skill involved there. So again, we beat Detroit and we beat Minnesota, and so we're kind of on a tear in the NFC North. But this week is for all the marbles. Do you know why this week is for all the marbles?
Y'all are playing Chicago, aren't you?
Because it's Bears week, baby. One of the biggest rivalries you could ever have in any kind of professional sport comes down to two of the oldest teams in the NFL. We're talking back to 1900 something or another. Uh, And now, granted, it wasn't necessarily exactly the Chicago Bears, right? Because Chicago's had a couple of teams come and go. Bears have been there the longest, but Green Bay has always had a rivalry with
Yep.
Chicago, and we have always fought back and forth. And the record's about even, right? We have not played uh, Chicago
No,
yet,
I was going to ask if y'all
so
if
it's
y'all
going to be
played them. I couldn't
weird.
remember.
No, we play Chicago this week. We play somebody next week. We play Chicago again the week after. It is the weirdest thing. I've never seen a schedule like that.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's happened, but I just don't remember it. But
I can't.
again,
I
this is
can't
kind
get
of for all
over
the marbles
Chicago's nine
because
and three. I
Chicago's
cannot get
running
over
away.
that they're 9-3 right now. It is absolutely insane to me.
Considering how bad Chicago
Hmm.
was last year, uh, and got to give credit where credit is due. Caleb Williams is doing some phenomenal things. He's got some really good weapons around him, but a lot of it is solely on his shoulders. And the coach is I appreciate that, Rick, but that's
I
not
mean,
exactly the
they're a big
case.
rivalry, but I
That's
mean they're not oldest rivalry in the NFL. I mean, even as much
right.
as Cowboys Eagles is is a rivalry, or I mean Cowboys and Giants, or Cowboys, anybody that NFC East, we all hate each other equally. Even those games aren't on par with Green Bay Chicago.
Yeah, there is nothing like, the founding fathers playing against each other, you know, and it's just as much trash as I talk against Minnesota, as much trash as I talk against Detroit, heck, as much trash as I still talk about Tampa Bay back when it was the NFC Central, okay? And Warren Sapp and
Mhm.
Brett Favre and some of those legendary
Oh, you mean
games,
when
right?
Brett Favre laid down so
Mm,
Sapp could get the sack record?
I can neither confirm nor deny that. Um, but there was also a game where Brett Favre took a shot at Warren
Wait, was it
Sapp.
Warren? No, it wasn't Warren
Uh,
Sapp. Who was
because
it? It was Warren
it
Sapp
was
that was
Warren
going for
Sapp.
the sack record?
That's
Okay,
Warren Sapp.
okay.
Hmm. It was Warren Sapp. Yes. And they had a very healthy, friendly rivalry. They played very competitively, very hard against each other. Brett probably did just
Yeah,
to
that's
help him
okay.
out,
Rank it. Yeah,
but then
it
he
was
also
Michael
burnt him.
Strahan. That's right. Yeah, it was Michael Strahan, not Warren Sapp. That's who I thought it was. Yes,
No, maybe okay. Maybe Strahan was going for the sack record. I don't
he
know.
got the sack record
I
against Favre.
That's
Favre just laid down on the play, just gave it to him.
okay. That could be, but I don't remember any of that. What I remember between Sapp and Favre.
I remember Sapp hitting Favre on an interception, and
Oh
that
yeah,
was I remember that was a big deal.
oh yeah. And Favre got up and he was ready
Yeah,
to go. He
I
was like
remember that.
swinging. Yeah, but after the game, they shook hands too because that's the kind of competitors that they were. And Favre was probably hopped up on painkillers, so he probably didn't even know where he
Didn't even
was.
feel it.
Yeah. So all that being the case, yes, there is nothing quite like the friendly hatred that I have ingrained in my DNA for the Chicago Bears. I love a lot of their fans. I have quite a few friends that are Chicago Bears fans. But when it comes to these games, bitter enemies. There is
Yep.
nobody that I hate worse than Chicago during Bears week. Okay. And it's going to happen two times. Okay. So nothing but trash talk. Like Chicago, love you to death, but you're garbage. Your number's coming up. You got lucky with the Eagles. You know that you're playing with fire, thinking that you're the best team in the league, that you're somehow going to own Green Bay, who dominates the record both in Chicago, in Soldier Field, and in Lambeau Field against you. We're going to be playing. I believe we're playing in Chicago
Well,
this
this one's
week.
in Lambeau.
This one's in Lambeau, then they're
Yeah.
toast. Absolute toast. There is nothing that Chicago is going to be able to throw at us, especially with our new addition, who's going to break Caleb Williams up pretty good, right? He's already got what, 12 and a half sacks on the season? So I'm thinking probably after this game, 14 and a half. We'll see. But this is what I live for. These kinds of games, these kind of division rivalries, seeing you guys going against a division rival, right? That just that hatred and
Oh yeah.
animosity,
Oh yeah.
like towards the Eagles, I would say towards the Commanders, but
I
right?
mean, I think the Eagles is the worst one. You know, that's who we hate the most. So it's Eagles. You know, it's probably Giants now. It used to be the Commanders, but they've been so terrible the last few years. You know, just completely irrelevant. Um, it really, it's become uh, the Giants kind of over the Commanders for uh, just most hated.
Yeah. And I would even argue that it's not even the Giants anymore because of just how bad the Giants have been.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Um,
right now it's like Eagles, Giants, Commanders. So
um, and Caleb probably is hard to sack. He's slippery, probably because he's been going to the Diddy parties. I'm just saying. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I had to throw that one in there just because you could. Um, but no, all all rivalry talk aside, Caleb Williams is an absolute threat, and this is going to be a tough game. I,
yeah,
I don't want anybody to get it confused. Yeah, I talk trash because I'm a fan and I'm going to stick behind my team no matter what. But as a football analyst, this is going to be a very tough game. And there is a very real possibility that Green Bay does, in fact, lose this game. If we do not play to our strengths and shut down Williams early and rattle him, dude, we're going to be in big trouble.
I
And we're going
mean,
to be looking at probably
you're
a very high
you're
scoring game.
correct. It's a very real possibility. I mean, the Bears are 9-3. As hard as it is for me to get that out of my mouth to actually say those words, the Bears have won 9 games and have only lost 3. It is absolutely ridiculous to think. You know,
Mhm.
they just beat the Eagles last week. You know, and really, 15 points the Eagles scored. So yeah, yeah,
Yep.
it's not this. This is not the slouch Bears of last year of the last 15 years. It is they're legit this season.
Yep.
They're
So it
they're a
is going to
tough.
be,
And you know what? I gave the Cowboys crap for losing to them earlier this year. Well, apparently I shouldn't have because they're just a good team this year.
yep. So Green Bay has a huge game this weekend. Dallas has a pretty big game this
Yeah,
weekend
we're
as
gonna
well.
we're gonna our best to try and help you guys out as well.
And we appreciate that. But this is going to be a good test for your defense,
It is another
right?
one. I mean, this will be the third week in a row that we play. Somebody who is legit a good team. We're playing Detroit this week, who I mean, in a loss to the Packers last week, still put up 24 points, still had a solid offensive game, and once again, let's test this defense again. Let's see. Cowboys have what 5 games left in the season. I mean, 4-1 could potentially put us in the playoffs. I think if we win this game, we have a really good chance of winning the rest of our games. I think the toughest test after that would be the Chargers, and they're very hit or miss. So, you know, a lot of the Cowboys' playoff hopes rest on this game. We could still get in losing this game, but it makes it a whole lot easier if we win this game. I think if we win the next 5 games, we're making the playoffs for sure. So
Yeah. Well, we have to wait and see what happens, man. But this is going to be huge, right? Uh, there's a couple other games that are going to be pretty good. Pittsburgh and Baltimore at 6-6. We'll see what happens with that one. But that's kind of right? Indy and Jacksonville, both at 8-4. That's going to be a pretty fun game to watch. Minnesota should have a gimme game playing the Commanders. And
I mean,
really,
I don't think either one of the it would be a gimme game for either one of those teams.
well, okay, it should be. Let's put it that way, right? But then again, this Minnesota team, since McCarthy has returned from injury, has not been the same team. So who knows?
Well, I
Like
don't.
this
Is
could be.
McCarthy playing this week? I don't. I know, or is it Brosman again? And then you've got the Commanders, who, I mean, they took Denver to overtime last week, so
Yeah.
they definitely were punching above their weight class last game, but I mean they held in there.
Yep. So we're going to switch over to college on that note and people punching above their weight class. A&M 2 weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving, was fighting a child, right? They played Samford and absolutely mauled them,
Yep.
48-0. Okay, let's flip over to Austin and look at our, University of Texas folks who played Arkansas and pretty much demolished them. But is it really demolished when your opponent scores 37 on you? Yeah, granted you scored 52, but they scored 37. It's kind of like, right? So it was a pretty decent stomping, but not the greatest showing.
Yeah.
What was a good showing though? Brian, right there, my friend. The eyes of Texas are upon you, baby. What happened?
Do you? All right, you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say
You got
this.
me.
We got beat. I mean, completely outplayed. Texas wanted it more. They came to play. I do not want to sound like I'm making excuses for this game because I'm not. We got beat. You know that the game plan that I saw, the plays that I saw being run, the schemes that I saw, it did not look like a team that cared whether they won the game or not. It very much looked like when we went to St. Louis to go see the Brahmas and Battle Chickens, that last game of the season, you know,
Oh,
both both teams played meh, whatever. We're gonna face each other next week in the playoffs anyways. We don't care what happens. That was what it looked like to me, especially in the second half of that game. Um, and it was frustrating me. I don't, if that really was the case, I don't really agree with it because I would have liked to have played in the SEC championship game. But I think it really seemed to me that the coaching staff was just, hey, you know what? Let's get out of this game healthy. We've got a playoff spot guaranteed wrapped up. Let's not do anything serious to one, put anything fancy on tape that we might need to want to use in the playoffs, or two, get anybody hurt. And honestly, after Reed went down in the second quarter with his the knee injury, I thought he would have been done. They would have pulled him out for the rest of the game. But he actually did come back the next series. So I don't know. It was still a tough fight. Even with it not what I think playing our best, still had a shot. I mean, only lost by 10. I know Reed had a couple interceptions, a couple bad interceptions just late in the game that sealed it. But until then, it was a dogfight. Just kind of right there. Both teams just right there, and man, that second half our defense sucked. Just couldn't stop the run, and that's where that's why I think nothing was really fancy with our defensive schemes. It was just guys not set where they're supposed to be, and 50-yard run or whatever. So
yeah. I mean, you can't knock A&M for that game, except for those two
I
interceptions.
mean, you can
Otherwise,
because there was a lot that they didn't do that they should have, and
well,
like I said, I don't know whether I'm not going to say they didn't try to lose the game. Obviously, they wanted to win the game, but I don't think they put all their heart into winning the game. It looked like they were playing at 60, 70% out there.
Brian, I'm actually, this is going to be weird, I know, but I'm actually going to stick up for the Aggies on this one. If you look at the score, both teams held each other scoreless in the first quarter. Second quarter, A&M put up 10, Texas only put up 3. So
Yeah.
you're up by 7 at the half. Now, that third quarter did not help you because you allowed 10 unanswered points to happen. And then in the fourth quarter, you only scored 7 versus Texas's 14. So it's really almost a tale of two halves, right?
Mhm.
Texas made adjustments that A&M couldn't really quite figure out and come back from. So that first half, you guys looked pretty good. It was just that second half that killed you. So
I will say a couple times in the first half, Marcel Reed, he gets some happy feet occasionally. And that's, you know, you can tell if he's not disciplined throwing. And that's when he ends up throwing interceptions. And I saw that in the first half, in the first quarter. He kind of had some happy feet. And even watching the game, I'm like, man, he's careful. If he's not careful, he's gonna throw a pick. And yeah, fourth quarter, he threw 2 of them.
yeah, but at least it was in the fourth quarter. And if you look at,
I mean, I don't
kind
know
of,
about at least because I mean, it was when we were driving down trying to get back into the game. But
yeah,
you know what? I said, all said and done, we've got a bye week this weekend. We're not playing in the SEC championship. We're not playing Alabama, which is who we would have been. We're gonna make the playoffs. Probably right now, it looks like we're gonna be playing Notre Dame in the first round, but this time it's gonna be at home. So be an interesting matchup. But that's kind of why I'm like, I don't think they tried their hardest. It's kind of like, not that this ever happened to me in school, but those kids that did so well that they could just skip their finals and just pass the class already. That was that's kind of what that looked like to me. That was them skipping their finals and
and
still making the playoffs.
very easily could have been, why sacrifice your players now on a game that isn't really, I mean, it's important for pride,
It's
right?
important. I mean, it is an important game.
But
It is, it's a state rivalry. It's a big game. That's why I wish not that I wish I was wrong, but I would hope that they kind of put everything into it, but it just didn't look like it to me.
understood. But I still think, I mean, again, I could see it from a coach's point of view and see why maybe they wouldn't be so worried about winning this game other than state pride kind
Oh
of
yeah,
thing.
no, of course.
Uh
Oh, I mean,
and
ultimately, the goal is a national championship. That is the ultimate goal, and so coaches will do whatever it takes to get to that ultimate goal. Ultimate goal is not an SEC championship. You know, so
right. So we'll have to see kind of how things break down because the updated rankings have not come out yet.
no, they did.
And
They came out today.
I'm looking at the rankings and they're not there.
So A&M dropped to number 7. Georgia went up to number 3. Texas Tech is at 4.
Oh, okay.
Ole
I
Miss,
found it.
Ole Miss skipped ahead of A&M, which I was a little surprised, especially after the Lane Kiffin news of him going to LSU and not going to
Yeah.
continue with the team, for the rest of the season. I'm surprised they jumped ahead of A&M. I kind of figured they would have been right behind. I'm glad that the committee didn't drop them out of the rankings completely, which there was talk that they might do that. I think that the Ole Miss completely deserves a shot at the playoffs after the season that they had. But
Well, in honor of the Mariachi Brahma, we've got to call him Ole Miss for the
Ole
rest of the
Miss,
season.
yep.
Yes. Um, we've talked about it before. I am flabbergasted. We have 4 Texas teams now in the top 25 because North Texas has now snuck into the ranking at 24, and Houston has climbed up to 21. So then, of course, you have Texas at 13, which surprises me they didn't jump a little bit higher with that win against A&M. But I get it. I mean, there's, people have better, records than them
Yeah.
and played tough opponents. So
And I
it
and,
kind of
and I
breaks down.
know
Actually,
and I
I'm sorry,
know
it's
that
five, five Texas teams.
all the Texas fans and their coach, which is, I mean, it's his job. They're clamoring for, Texas deserves a spot in the playoffs because of who they've beaten, and they have a good, teams they've beaten record. The problem is they lost to Florida, and that loss to Florida is what's going to keep them out of the playoffs. So
Yeah. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting when we see kind of when the bracket has the bracket come out
yeah,
yet?
it
Bracket hasn't come
has.
out yet, has it?
Yeah, it's ESPN released it.
Uh,
So like I said, I mean, right now, as it stands right now, Ohio, Indiana, Georgia, and Texas Tech are all the top 4 seeds. They'll get a bye week. Like I said, A&M is playing Notre Dame right now. Oklahoma and Alabama are playing each other right now, and then Oregon and Ole Miss are playing the 11 and 12 teams who get in for the from their championships. That'll probably change a little bit because Ohio State and Indiana are playing each other this weekend for the championship game. Um, I don't see either one of those teams dropping. Indiana may. I don't see Indiana dropping down past 4 if they lose. Ohio State either. So I still think the top 4 would probably stay the same. The only change would be is if uh, Georgia loses to Alabama in the SEC championship, or if Texas Tech loses in the Big 12 championship. So
yeah.
I don't really expect either of those to happen. So
Yeah, again, we're just gonna have to wait and see, right? Because crazy things happen. Um, but um, interesting, Tech's got a bye, which they bought their way in, so it makes sense that they'd get a bye. Had to throw that one out there. Just a
they
little
got
jab.
one more win before they get a bye for sure. But
That's
you
true.
know, Sunday night is when we know for sure who's making the college football playoffs. So
There you go. Speaking of teams making the college playoffs, and probably this one didn't make the college playoffs, but at least they're going to make a bowl game, right? Last 2 games, UTSA has done what UTSA does. Put a pretty good shellacking on East Carolina, right? 58-24, looked solid, incredible team. They played Army,
ooh,
which was a huge, huge challenge. And they fought. I was very, very surprised. They fought that entire game. Did not get the win, but they fought. And this is the first time that Trailer has lost at home to a division rival. And Sleepy just said, "Go Army." So somebody might have an accident going down the stairs tonight. No, I'm just kidding. That's not going to
probably
happen at
you.
all. Yeah, probably me, because I'm gonna get destroyed by Army just
Yeah.
because. Um, but UTSA is going to be in a bowl game. I
Mhm.
don't know which one yet. We're going to figure that out here in the next couple of days. But at least they made another bowl game. And so I'm hoping that by winning or getting that bowl game, Trailer can still keep eyes on University of Texas San Antonio and maybe get some more recruits, maybe get a little bit of more money in and draw some more people in and help get this program you know up and going, because it's going, but it's like going with a walker and some oxygen
Yeah.
and maybe some steroid shots.
And we've talked about it several times. I mean, the team needs help. It needs something. It doesn't have, obviously it doesn't have the ton of multi-million dollar boosters that these other teams have, but it's got to do something to get its name out to get some recruits. And I mean, in
Yeah,
this land of NIL deals, it's just I don't know what UTSA can do, and we talked about before. Trailer. If they don't get help, he's gonna want to do something else. I mean, that's we talked about it just a second ago. Lane Kiffin. That's the reason he left Ole Miss to go to LSU. Not because of the necessarily the quality of players, because Ole Miss has some good players, but they don't quite have the backing that LSU does. The money that they can bring other players in, and at where he's at with Ole Miss. See, I almost just said Ole Miss, just randomly
Yep.
talking. They're basically at their ceiling. LSU, he's got a chance to go above it and actually probably a good shot to win a championship with the backing that he has from there. So, how long is Traylor going to wait? I mean, 3 years ago he was one of the hottest names in college football coaching. He's kind of died down a little bit. So, is he going to be looking for that, that move to get him back up in those, the top coaching ranks?
I have a feeling he's going to, man. If we keep going the way we're going with UTSA, it's not looking good on keeping him, regardless of the promises that he's made. And he's made it very well known that he's unhappy with the way the program is going and has been begging for support for the last several years. At some point, that's going to break.
At some point, you ask for help and you don't get it. You're just like, I'm sorry, I did all I could. I got to go somewhere where I can get help.
Yeah, you're 100% right. But let's go ahead and break down the other leagues or the other teams real quick. Um, and Texas State wound up winning their last two games. They wind up finishing out 6-6. Um, but that's still they're tied for third with Arkansas State and Louisiana. And they obviously did not have the season that they had last year. You know, I don't know if they're going to be in any kind of a playoff structure because it is uh what am I trying to say? Division two, I think, whatever. Uh so we'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, I feel kind of bad for Texas State again having such a great year last year, not so much this year. I'm sure there's going to be some adjustments that are going to be made, and we'll see kind of what happens next year, right? Kind of same thing with UIW. UIW struggled. They lost Southeast Louisiana on the 15th. We talked about that. Last week was their last game. They beat Houston Christian 31-10. And so they wind up finishing out the year. Where are they at? I don't see their stats. They did not finish out the way that they had planned to. It was very much a struggle for them. Trinity University, their last game was versus Hardin Simmons. They wound up winning. They've got one more game at Barry University. Don't know that, but they wound up going 10-1 overall. So pretty good showing for Trinity University. And I think what they're D3. I'd have to look into that. But overall, not bad. So congratulations, Trinity University. You guys had a really good year this year. Texas Lutheran, and not so much, right? I think they struggled a little bit. They wound up going 6-4 overall, and just wasn't exactly the year that they were expecting. I think they were expecting to do a little bit better, and that just kind of didn't work out for them.
Yeah.
But overall, not horrible. So, with that being the case, that kind of wraps up college NFL. Uh, just want to highlight because we do talk about UFL here, right? Just want to highlight the two recent firings in the UFL and a lot of the changes that have been happening. One makes sense, right?
Yeah,
CJ,
CJ
yes.
Johnson in Houston. I mean, nobody should be surprised at that. I think the only thing they should be surprised that it didn't happen last year. So
You're not wrong. But God, what the heck's his name?
talking
The
about
coach,
Nolan at Michigan.
yes, yes.
Now that
Nolan, who was brought
that was a
over to,
surprise.
yeah.
Yeah, not
And
Michigan anymore. Which what whoever they are supposed to be now. Which I mean they haven't even announced it. So
well, I think he was the coach for Columbus, and then they terminated him.
that I
I think
think that was
they
the that would think that was the assumption that they were, but I don't think they announced that which teams are actually have moved
no,
to
no,
where.
no. But I think
So
in one of the posts that where they talked about him being terminated, they said that he was the coach of the
oh, okay,
Columbus Aviators.
okay.
And I'd have to go back and look. But again, right, they move him over and then they terminate him. So what can we expect next? Like, I get it that, oh, and then Rapoli has also made it known that Nike, I think it was, or was it Under Armour?
Under
Uh,
Armour was the official.
right.
You know,
They no longer are the official gear of
yeah, which
the
makes sense
UFL.
because Rapoli and Under Armour have some beef going back
Hmm.
for a while ago. So
Well, and then Rapoli also owns Noble.
yeah,
So chances are you're going to wind up seeing Noble being the official athletic gear of the UFL. It just makes sense. It's his company. He's going to want to push that. That's why you're seeing kind of everything going to be revamped. The teams are going to look hopefully not too different, but they're going to look different, right? We know obviously what the logos are going to look like, um, but we can't make 100% assumptions that they're going to look the same as what they did last year when they was it was the UFL,
yeah,
right? And I'm going to start calling this Rapoli FL because it really is his league and he's making it known.
yeah,
But
yeah,
what's
for sure.
next? Like who's going to get canned next? Who's going to get put in a position? Uh, I've been hearing speculation, and this is just speculation, guys. I don't have a whole lot of information to back this up. Um, but I've had some conversations with some people, and I kind of trust their opinion. I think we're going to be seeing some surprise moves. If this happens the way I think it is, you're going to see something huge happen that is really going to shake up the league, and it's really going to piss off a fan base. Uh, don't want to say too much again beyond that because again, this is just speculation. But if things work out the way I think they do, you're going to see a really upset fan base, and I think it's going to be a big major hit for the UFL.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, it in that vein, I mean, it was kind of reported a few days ago that Anthony Beck was asking about the what is it, the University of Central Florida job or something like that. You know, uh, possibly had some interest in that. Now, and doesn't hurt to ask. Do they have interest in him? That's the question. But I mean, you really shouldn't be surprised at any St. Louis fans because kind of went through this last year too. Like he was kind of inquiring about some college jobs last year as well. I mean, the goal for these coaches, not just the players, is to move up. So we'll see. I'm not surprised that these coaches are asking for if there's any college schools are looking for a coaching upgrade.
and I would think that moving to college would most likely be an upgrade.
Yeah,
Not anything against the UFL, but this is more of a permanent job. There's a lot more status with it, if you will, and a lot more money, right? So it would just make sense.
although I mean,
Okay,
although you've got he's pretty comfortable in St. Louis. I mean, you can be a playoff loser perennial and still keep your job. So
no, the fans love Beck, and he really connects. So I get it, and you're right though. I don't know that I've seen another coach lose quite as much as he does and still be able to keep their job. Right?
yeah.
It's just insane. Okay, so um, obviously we also talk about the COFL because we're definitely invested in the COFL. A couple of things I want to break down real quick. Um, there's an it should be out. I'm pretty sure it is. And so if I'm speaking out of turn, I apologize. Um, but we've seen a couple of things going on with the Texas Syndicate. They're not bad things, okay? That's not anything to worry about. But the syndicate wants to make sure that they're being upfront and transparent with everything that's going on. First and foremost, one of their members of the team of the staff suffered a loss, and it's been pretty rough on that person. So, thoughts and prayers
Yeah,
to
I
that person.
saw their post yesterday. Just asking for prayers and you know, definitely yeah, like you're saying,
Yes,
thoughts
sir.
and prayers out to them.
Yes, sir. Um, but then an announcement came out today that the head coach is stepping down and their assistant coach will be assuming head coach duties. That's not the person who lost the loved one. That the coach is dealing with a personal matter. I don't know all the details about it, but it is something that obviously he's not able to dedicate his full attention and commitment to the team. He needed to take care of whatever that was, and so he's stepping down so he can handle that. Hopefully he comes back. He's an incredible coach. I would love to see him, but the team is also in great hands with the assistant coach. So thoughts and prayers for the head coach also. Hopefully it's a matter that he's able to take care of and then come back, or at least just get it taken care of and, get everything resolved to, the best possible outcome that it could be. Um, Along with that, I don't know when, but I have a feeling sometime in the very near future, we're going to be getting an update on who the head coach is for the San Antonio Toros. By the way, you see, I'm wearing my San Antonio Toros gear. I would be wearing my hat. It just hadn't come in yet. It should come in probably in the next couple of days. So next episode, I'll be sporting my San Antonio Toros hat. Uh, but this is going to be pretty exciting news. I don't have any confirmation who it is, but if it is who I think it is, it's going to be a good thing, right? So as soon as we find out, we'll be letting you guys know. We'll be sharing, all of their football accolades and everything like that. We're definitely going to try and get them on the show first before anybody else gets a chance to take a crack at them because we want to talk to them first.
That's
It
right.
only makes sense, right? Um, Also want to talk about the co-showcase that Texas Syndicate and Toros had on Sunday, and it was live streamed, which was phenomenal. There were a couple of really big sponsors that were behind it. South Texas Spine and Surgical Center is one of them, which is probably one of the best spine and surgical hospitals here in Texas. Um, there's just a whole bunch of great stuff that is kind of going on with that deal, and there was a lot of talent on display, and a lot of young athletes are going to get a great opportunity. So if you didn't get a chance to watch the live stream, go back and watch the recording of it, right? Because again, it was live streamed, it was recorded. You'll get to see everything that everybody saw on the live stream. A lot of these players that showed up and a couple of them that really showed out. I think you're going to be surprised at the level of talent, right? Uh, uh, we've talked to a couple of people with this organization that said it's going to be like double A ball, but I got a feeling we're going to have triple A ball players in a double A ball league. So you're going to see some phenomenal talent on display. So go back and watch it, see some of these players, see what you think. And we're going to try and we tried to get over to the event so we could do, some interviews and stuff like that. It just didn't work out with, all of us being all over the place, me being in West Texas, you being kind
Yeah.
of here doing the Thanksgiving thing still. It just didn't work out. But we're
I mean,
definitely going to be at the
I
next
don't really want to pull a Heinz Ward, but I was putting up Christmas lights and decorations and stuff. So,
one.
you
Man,
know,
you should have just gone along with what I was saying, dude. Anyways, so that's kind of what's going on with the COFL. Still a lot of things going on. We obviously just heard about the announcement of the new team. We talked about that, I believe,
yep, 2 weeks
the
ago.
week before. Yeah. So they're kind of forming, so we're keeping an eye on them. The Dukes are part of the league now. So any day now, we should be hearing another update from the COFL North Division on who the third team is over there because we've
Yep.
got three in the South. So that
Still
should be
have three
coming
more
out
teams
soon.
to figure out who's going where. So
It's it's going to be. I have a feeling that we're going to be getting inundated with some news in the next month or so,
yeah,
right? Like right now, they're still kind of solidifying some rosters and teams and locations and stuff like that. But I have a feeling that once all that is squared away, man, we're going to get information overload, and it's going to be awesome. Now, uh, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about indoor football league, right? Um, things are starting to ramp up. A lot of the teams are, signing players. I think the biggest news, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but the Massachusetts Pirates are now the Orlando Pirates.
yep.
That's going to be big, right? And it looks like Massachusetts is grabbing some pretty solid players from the Green Bay Blizzard. So they're serious about this. Like they made a move for a reason, not just for the money, but also because I think they really want to try and make a run and make a lot of noise for that team.
Interesting.
So yeah, you're definitely going to want to keep your eyes on the Pirates this year. I think they're going to be, kind of a surprise. And what is up, Sister Jackie? It's good to
Hey,
see
Jackie.
you. You missed all the good Cowboys talk in which we bashed the Eagles and all that other good stuff. Um, but and San Antonio's been making some noise too, right? And the cool thing about that is that we know where the practice facility is. So maybe we'll sneak over there and try and catch a couple of practices and kind of see what's going on with the team because luckily they're here in San Antonio, right? I'm still excited to see some of the teams that are now in the IFL. Some new ones, in fact, the New Mexico Chupacabras. It's a new team, new twist on thing. Um, Appreciate it. Uh, but the IFL, man, they don't mess around. There's a reason why the IFL is kind of the big dog when it comes to indoor football league. They're getting kind of the best of the best,
Yeah.
and they're really focused on making sure that this is financially viable. Like this is a solid product that they can bring to market that they can count on for years to come.
And
So
kind of speaking of that, we didn't talk about this because I don't think it had been announced with our last episode. You know, they tried their IFL network last year. They decided they're gonna get rid of that, and they partnered up with FanDuel Sports
yeah,
to show all the games.
completely forgot to talk about that. Now I apologize. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
We know FanDuel is kind of one of the premier leagues when it comes to betting and sports information and everything like that. So they're going to have a quality broadcast product.
I mean,
And
I've got the Spurs game on, and that's all their games are on, or most of their games are on FanDuel Sports. So I mean, basically, it's what Fox Sports, was and then became Bally Sports and is now FanDuel Sports. So, it's not. I mean, I hate to say it's not YouTube and it's not the IFL network. This is definitely a step up for them.
yes, it's going to be exciting times. Okay. Um, So be on the lookout for that. I'm definitely going to be looking into it because I'm not normally a big, uh, you know, FanDuel, stuff like that kind of guy. But if I can pay a nominal fee and have a subscription where I can see all the games in one place, man, it's worth it, right? So I'll definitely be looking into that. Over in the NAL, right, things are starting to move forward, right? We're about 90 days out, so 3 months, give or take. Um, and that's when things are really going to be kicking off. So you're going to be hearing a lot more from the National Arena League. Uh, our favorite team, the West Texas Warbirds, which is now the Amarillo Warbirds, they are solidified in the National Arena League. Looking forward to that. And there's also the Dallas Bulls, right? A new team
Right.
that has dropped into the NAL, so another team we get to follow. And it just looks like there's pretty good talent in the NAL, which is one of the things that we had talked about, I believe, last season, where there was kind of some flakiness and we
Yeah.
weren't exactly sure on the stability of the NAL. Well, it looks like they kind of silenced all those doubts and they brought in some really good teams to kind of button everything down. Now, over in the AF1, we do have the Beaumont Renegades starting their inaugural season with the AF1, and Billings Outlaws have come over also from the National Arena League. Unfortunately, Corpus has kind of dissolved, but we do have the Michigan Arsenal, which is going to be great for our friends over in the Michigan area, being that they kind of lost their arena or their UFL team. They have an arena team that they can follow until maybe other things solidify. And of course, they've got the Lions, but right? Who follows them? Who cares? Uh, but AF1 has some pretty solid talent also. Now, this is about as far as we're going to go into these arena leagues because, truth be told, we've talked about it
Yeah.
before. There are so many arena leagues. It's hard to follow every single one, right? There's a reason why Pro Arena Talk just focuses on arena football. Because, and by the way, shout out to our friends over at Pro Arena Talk, Sammy Sharp and all the guys, uh, everybody that helps us with the background information. Uh, as soon as that starts picking up, we should be getting more from them. But again, there's a reason why those guys follow all these arena leagues because there's so many different arena leagues. I just found a league, and I can't remember if it's outdoor football or arena, but there is a league just in Florida. It has like 20 something teams, right? How are we going to follow something like that? That's crazy, you know?
I
And,
saw
and
I saw something for one yesterday. Day before, I think it was yesterday actually. I was looking. It was it was in Germany. It was the International Arena League.
that's another one.
Yeah.
Now, again, I'm excited for Germany, right? They still have basically NFL Europe, which is like EFA now or EFL,
ELF.
ELF. There you go, ELF, right? So it's kind of the second coming of the NFL Europe, if you will. It's still some of the original teams from NFL Europe. Love that. Love that that's going on, and I love that the focus isn't on American players going over there to play. It's on local players over there
Yeah.
getting the opportunity to develop their talent to potentially come over to America and play. But now they get arena football, right? And that's exciting for them because that's something that NFL players here in America developed to kind of fill that void in the spring and summertime until the NFL came back around, right? But it's not the same game. It's not outdoor football. It's something completely different. And so that's exciting to see that they're getting an opportunity at it as well. Um, we will probably also, uh, maybe highlight some things like that, like BD just did. We're also going to be talking probably a little bit more about the CFL because obviously the COFL has direct connections with the CFL. And a lot of these players that we're going to be seeing coming down the pike from the COFL, they have opportunities to play in the CFL. So
Yeah.
just like we did with the XFL and the UFL, as we follow players' careers and they go on, right? Like Brandon Aubrey, like
Turpin.
what's his name in Detroit, the kicker?
Oh, Bates.
Yeah, Bates, Parker Romo, guys like that, Rex Sunahara. Uh, as different players get opportunities to go into the pros, if you will, we're going to be following them as much as we possibly can, right? Just to kind of keep updates on them and see how they're going. The whole objective here, and we will be highlighting high school players as well. Right now, they're in the playoffs, so it's hard to kind of find one person to just identify. So we'll probably talk about it after the season is over. But again, we want to try and track players from the beginning of the career to basically when they make it, right? Because we want to find that next
Yeah.
cohort. I don't know that that's going to happen. That may be a once in a lifetime kind of thing, but it would be awesome if we could find that one cat that was counted out, like a Parker Romo, for example. uh, and then finds a way to turn it around and come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rick, if you like the CFL, I'm going to do a shameless plug, and I'm not ashamed of it. But you're going to love the COFL because they have this thing going on called the Continental Shift. If you haven't heard about this, go to any of the COFL pages that we follow, we mention, we whatever. Look at our interview that we had with Coach Kelly, where we talked about the Continental Shift. It's an incredible thing, and you're going to want to follow that because it's introducing Canadian football rules into American football to give players a much more rounded training as they advance in their careers. But I'll save it for the replay in the interview. But anyways, yeah. So things are developing in Arena League as we start talking about more things that happen. Or I'm sorry, as news starts coming out, we'll start talking about that a little bit more, right? Because NFL is going to start winding down. COFL and UFL are going to start ramping up, and then right after that, Arena is going to be taken off, right? So we'll have more of that stuff to talk about. But right now, cover's a little dry, right? Crackers are a little stale with that section there. Uh, but we'll be replenishing our stock soon. So all that to say, I think we need to land this plane. We're
Oh yeah,
20 minutes
get a
over
little over,
on a time, a little way over.
a little bit, a
But
little bit.
yeah. So BD, that being the case, what do you got to say to close the show down this week?
You know, just hope all the teams playing their conference championships have fun. Aggies will just kind of be hanging out, getting rested, getting ready for the playoffs, and suck at Lions.
I agree with you. Um, I'm cautiously optimistic about the college football playoffs. I definitely want to see what bowl game UTSA lands in. Hopefully, it brings some national attention and some kids see how good of a coach Jeff Traylor is and want to bypass making as much money as they possibly can for an opportunity at furthering their career because
Yeah.
that's the kind of coach that he is. He's not worried about the here and now. He's worried about today, tomorrow, and the hereafter. So hopefully, some of that gets translated through this bowl game. I'm also going to finish off with this. Chicago, you never had it, you never will. You have been inconsequential since 1985. You guys are acting all big and bad because you think you're on a good streak right now. Most of the games that you've played have been against marginal teams. You've beaten two decent teams. You are not the best. You are on a lucky streak, and you're going to find out this week who the real owner of the NFC North is. So, Chicago, suck it. See you guys. Peace. Go, Pack, go,
Yeah.
baby.